So in the moment, the question is, what truth is being expressed to you in this moment? Are you resonant with it? Are you testing that spirit of truth by the Spirit? And you were mentioning earlier, I think you said it was John 4:1 that's in the Bible. Again, a lot of, we live in the United States right now, and the majority of the United States, I'm not sure what the statistics are at the moment, but I think it's at least 65, it's been a lot of changes over the years, but I think at least 65 to 70% of the United States is still Christian. But we honor all paths, you know, all religions, all spiritual modalities and paradigms. But we will use
we are all paths.
And
all
yes, we are, exactly.
Modalities.
Because if people ask me, you know, what are you? I remember this lady was so upset with me. She's like, ask me what am I? I said, I am everything, yet I am nothing. And I guess she thought I sounded like a fortune cookie, but I'm really, you know, being serious that I am all of those things, yet I am not bound by the perception of man to what those labels represent.
And
so
allowing yourself to be boxed into one particular truth or belief system or perception or reality or fact or opinion.
Exactly. I ascribe to all of the religions, because they fundamentally, at their core, they share the same truth.
Yeah.
When you remove man's interpretation and his need to segregate,
yeah,
there is one undivided truth constantly and perpetually moving and illuminating and becoming that sacred.
And I think for that too, Nye, is, you know, I had put the question here. The question here today is, what is truth? And what, if anything, makes it true? Well, what really makes it true is your resonance or your acceptance of it. And I think this is the path that we need to lean towards, whether you understand something or not. If somebody is saying to you that is their truth, or that is their reality, or that's their understanding, or that's their experience, I think we have to respect that. But also, all parties need to be open to truth, to understanding. But I know for me personally, and I believe for you as well, what has gotten me to this place now of really being able to sit in a place of no judgment is really respecting that everybody has the right to live their life, you know. And to take it a little bit further than that, I do believe that everybody has a particular path and a particular journey that they have come here to walk, you know, and it's all for the evolution and the growth of their own soul. I look at Earth as being a school, call it the Earth School, where we have come here as souls to learn, to understand, to evolve,
to teach.
But at the end of the day, I think the biggest lesson that we are all here to learn is how to love.
Yes.
Is how to love.
Or how to love, how to personify love. Because when we are seated, we are already love. We are already everything that we're ever going to be. That's my truth.
Yeah.
That's why I ascribe to, because that's what resonates beyond my heart. That resonates into my soul. But you know, I'm kind of like something spinning in my head right now. There's a moment. I used to work in benefits, and that's with 401ks and things like that, but at the corporate level. Like, one of the things that I realized when it comes to law, and this translates to the spirit as well, certain laws are written, but what we found is that administrating those laws sometimes proved nil. It was almost impossible. And although the law allowed certain corporations to do certain things for their employees, certain things could not be done because to be able to administrate it had not yet been developed. So that draws me to this moment of how we are already perfectly loved, and then we incarnate into this physical vessel, this human component, this human instrument, and then we have these limitations as to how we actually express fully, without fear, that full source of love that is already within us. And all of these hiccups, if you will, that hold us back because we have not developed or have not yet seen how to fully allow that to flow.
Well, it's like technology. You know, something is created with the capacity to do certain things. So that the overall intention, the overall vision of this little phone, for example, is to be able to do this, do that, and the next thing. But you get it, and then it's recalled for certain things because, like you said, there are certain hiccups or there are certain things that you understand about it and using it that you might have to modify or go back in and redo or restructure or whatever. But the intention of the thing is for it to be able to affect all of this. So
and so there's a process. There's a process to the madness.
Absolutely.
So back to the divine reasoning, even back to your sister and her point of ascension, and not having that really clarified for the physical beings that are here in mind. There, and back to and again tying into personal perception versus the collective perception. I truly believe, and this is, we'll get into this later, but I have what I've intimately coined downloads, but it's empathic impressions that come straight from the divine where I'm taught directly and not. And that's kind of what you're, same thing that you were saying when you asked for something, you were given that, and then you may have been led to something external like a book or something that may give you something hard coded. But we have these different ways of receiving information. So this information came to me divinely. So I have certain perceptions based on that. And because that came from a direct relationship with Source, it's hard for me to veer away from anything, even when it's written or supposedly written by something that's supposedly sacred scripture. But what I do when I see that there's a conflict, I try to get my mind out of the way because I'm like, okay, because truth is dimensional, this scripture obviously can reveal something of the same nature, but I have to not necessarily be so focused on how the mind interprets that in a moment. And again, ask spirit, reveal to me what this scripture is saying. Because I know that you wouldn't tell me something that's contradictory to your own word. But then again, that comes back to, is this my word?
Well, it's like, I always go to technology. I love, it's out there, so I just refer to it. But it's like a computer, a laptop computer. And say it was, I don't know if we could call names of, let's say it was done by Denika Incorporated. It's Denika's computer. And so it's designed to do all of these things. It has the capacity to do all of these things. There is it came from a certain place. There was a process through which it came. It was all of this. There's a whole lot of stuff attached to this Denika computer. But then Joe Blow goes and buys the computer. And he's buying the computer to do a specific
Joe the
thing.
plumber.
No, Joe Blow.
Joe the plumber. Joe the plumber.
Let's leave Joe the plumber where he lieth, wherever that may be. But he buys it to do a certain thing. He's not interested in where it came from, how it started, what all it's able to do. So because he bought it for this specific thing, it doesn't mean that this computer is limited to doing just this. And he might decide one day, oh, well, he needs it to do something else. And then find that this has the capacity to do something else, but not until he goes or is willing to go a little bit deeper than being able to word process. Until he goes a little bit deeper, then he has the ability to find out, oh, okay, this is able to do a little bit more. So you have to be willing to go beyond the here. It's like something we talk about all the time, something serving you in the moment. But then there might come a time when it doesn't serve you anymore, or you need a little bit more than what was okay 5 years ago. Be willing to go outside of the box and say, okay, let me find out what this is all about. Because if the desire is in you, if the thought is in you, if you're resonating with something, then go with it. Don't be swayed by somebody else's experience. You have to know what is, going back to truth, you have to know what is truth for you in the moment. And it doesn't mean that truth can't change later or evolve or expand.
Yeah.